What's up, everybody? Move the Sticks, DJ, Bucky. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We've had a busy week here on Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, we're both former scouts, so what we do on Move the Sticks is we kind of look at the NFL as well as looking forward to the draft through a player personnel eyes. So we're analyzing matchups, players, each and every week, what we see trends, which way the league is going. And man, we've had a wild NFL season this year, Buck, but college football even been more wild.
Yeah, college football has been crazy. We're getting to that time where some of the teams in the NFL are not going to be in the postseason. So it's time to look ahead and see who could be some of the guys that could be available to them in the next year's draft.
Yeah, there's a couple players I've watched on college this year that have been intriguing to me, and I figure we'll kind of split this up. I'll take one of them, you take the other. It's a running back and a quarterback. The running back for me, Derrick Henry at the University of Alabama, Buck. I remember watching him over the summer, and man, I was like, this guy, he's so big and so strong and so powerful, but then he surprised you with that breakaway speed that he has. I remember being in attendance in that Sugar Bowl where Oklahoma got the best of him, but man, you saw his kind of coming out party in that game. Once he got to the second and third level, he could really explode through. You don't see backs this big very often.
No, you don't see backs that big. I'm familiar with Derrick because Derrick was at the opening, which is an event sponsored by Nike. He was there. When I tell you about the numbers that he put up there, this is a guy that at his size ran a 4.40 on grass, vertical to over 40 inches. So you're talking about a very explosive athlete, and you see that explosiveness on display when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, when I go back through some of my notes after watching him, you see the power. You see he needs a little bit of room. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle inside, but you get him a little bit of runway. He can really explode and make things happen. He reminds me a lot of a guy we scouted several years back who had a nice career with the New York Giants, and that's Brandon Jacobs. I mean, you look at somebody with just outstanding size and physicality. They're similar guys as you look at the numbers here of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, when you think about Brandon Jacobs, part of the comparison is really stemmed to you just don't see running backs that tall that can get through the hole. And his ability to be big, fast, and physical, get through the hole, be skinny, you already can envision him being a guy that you want to lean on as a workhorse back, particularly down in the red zone. I think he definitely brings a lot to the table as a feature back.
I think people look at Brandon Jacobs at the latter portion of his career and say, oh, Derrick Henry's got so much more top speed. Brandon Jacobs ran in the mid to low 4.5s coming out. He had a lot of juice, some injuries, and some age kind of piled up on him.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't realize he played at Auburn. He was in that backfield with Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams, and others. Had a lot of success, went to Southern Illinois. So he is a guy that I think if you're trying to make those comparisons from a physical standpoint, I absolutely believe they're valid.
Yeah, neither guy going to wow you with stop-start quickness, but give him a little bit of runway, a lot of power, a lot of speed to make things happen. But I talked about a running back. I know there's a quarterback you've got your eye on so far.
Yeah, Connor Cook from Michigan State is a guy that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. And part of the reason I'm keeping an eye on him because he's a classic franchise quarterback that you look for. Big, strong arm, pocket passer, guy that really does his damage from the platform right up under center. And when you're looking at the college game, you don't see a lot of guys that play and take snaps from under center, but you see that with Connor Cook. And when I watched him, I was there at this game in the Rose Bowl when he diced up Stanford in the big win. I saw him in the Big Ten championship. I've seen him live a couple of times, and every time that I've watched him, I like the arm talent. I like the anticipation. I like the accuracy. I will say he needs to clean up some of his footwork flaws because it does lead him to be a little inconsistent with his ball placement. But you have to like the fact that he's the ultimate winner. Right now, he's 31-3 in his collegiate career as a starter at Michigan State. And so when you're compiling the data and you're doing the things that you need to do to find a franchise quarterback, I want a guy that has leadership ability, guys that can win. And right now, I'm seeing a guy that certainly has the ability to lead your team to the winner's circle.
Yeah, you look at the numbers here, pretty impressive, Buck, except for the completion percentage. And
that's the one thing that you have to knock him on.
That's what I struggle with. And even this year, looking at some of the opponents that they played, we weren't playing the top-notch competition. In those games, I want to see the 70-75%. I know he's pushing the ball vertically down the field more than some of these little spread system quarterbacks. But that to me is a little bit of a concern. What I like about him, he gets under center. You see the footwork, flashes of him being able to do everything you want to do at the next level. For me, though, Buck, his front shoulder flies open too much, and that hurts his accuracy. I don't see him really incorporate his lower body as much as I'd like.
That's one thing. We talk about him being streaky. Like, I have seen him firsthand. I've seen him up close. I've seen him on the field doing workouts, and I know he can do some of those things from watching him at Elite 11. But the one thing that he has to do is he has to be able to put it together in practice, in game conditions, and sometimes he doesn't incorporate his lower body. because he's so streaky and he's up and down, he reminds me of Carson Palmer when he came out. Carson Palmer, his senior year when I went to SC to scout him, he was a guy that was up and down at the first part of the year, but then he got hot the last 5 or 6 games, won the Heisman Trophy. I envision Connor Cook being a guy that can do that. He has some big games remaining on his schedule. If he plays well in those games, I can see it kind of setting a buzz in the scouting community, and he could be a guy that people could envision being the face of their franchise as a top pick.
Yeah, these two players we're talking about here might end up seeing them in a bowl game here in a college football playoff. Both Alabama and Michigan State sitting pretty right now. Those are two interesting players to keep an eye on as we roll through the rest of the college football season. DJ Bucky here for you. Move the Sticks. Check us out YouTube as well as NFL.com/podcasts.